The discussion on Sri Lanka's government's progress on human rights began at UN Human Rights Council in Geneva at 10 p.m. yesterday.
Regrettably, the past year has also seen further obstruction and setbacks to accountability. I regret the erosion of independence of country's key commissions and institutions, including Sri Lanka's Human Rights Commission, subsequent to passage of the 20th Amendment to the Constitution. Victims of the 2019 Easter Sunday bombings and religious leaders also continue to call for justice, reparation, and a full account of the circumstances of those attacks, in particular the role of the security establishment. I am also deeply concerned by continued reports of surveillance, harassment, human rights defenders, and journalists by police and intelligence services. Repeated incidents of death in custody and in alleged armed encounters with police are alarming. The current government has not only demonstrated its unwillingness to pursue accountability, it has incorporated military officials implicated in alleged war crimes into the highest levels of government, reinforcing a narrative of impunity. As long as impunity prevails, Sri Lanka will not achieve genuine reconciliation and sustainable peace.
Representing Sri Lanka, Professor G.L. Piri said there are several flaws in the report of the UN Human Rights Chief.
The fundamental deficiency is its intolerably intrusive character, impinging as it does on core functions and responsibilities of organs of the Sri Lankan state. There is as well a clearly discernible element of discrimination in that the Council would certainly not take it upon itself to embark on a similar inquisitorial procedure in respect of other member states. It is a matter for deep regret that numerous instances of unsubstantiated allegations and superficial conclusions, insensitive to the complexity of ground situations, have found their way into the report. The government of Sri Lanka is firmly resolved to maintain the security and stability that we have restored for our people and ensure sustainable progress in an equitable manner.
The core group, comprising Canada, Germany, North Macedonia, Malawi, Montenegro, the United Kingdom and the United States, has issued a statement on the situation in Sri Lanka.
Our concerns over surveillance and intimidation of civil society persist, and detentions, threats and intimidation of journalists and human rights defenders continue. It is crucial that civic space remains open. The new One Country, One Law task force risks undermining Sri Lanka's pluralist society. We urge Sri Lanka to ensure that this task force work is inclusive and non-discriminatory.
India urged Sri Lankan authorities to fulfill the expectation of the Tamils.
We call upon Sri Lanka to take the necessary step to address the legitimate aspirations of the Tamil community, including by carrying forward the process of reconciliation and implementation of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution of Sri Lanka to ensure that the fundamental freedoms and human rights of all its citizens are fully protected. We will continue to urge the Sri Lankan government for the early conduct of elections to the provincial councils in keeping with its commitments to devolution of power.
Human Rights Watch says countries should impose targeted sanctions on alleged Sri Lankan rights violators. In a statement, it said the report by the UN Human Rights Chief contradicts government's claims of improvement in terms of human rights. Human Rights Watch South Asia Director Meenakshi Ganguly said countries should press the Sri Lankan government to make real progress. She added that victims of abuse and vulnerable groups are depending on the UN and international partners to push for justice and accountability.